we cannot find an effective solution to Black male-female relationship issues or the oppression of Black men or Black women when the people at the table having the conversation have negative emotional and pathological interests in the conversation that are not.
Umar, the question wasn't about my emotional state. The question was, what did Black men do in response to their disenfranchisement? Yeah, because you're trying to pathologize my emotional state, not knowing that I'm a psychologist too. But what you're not doing is telling us what Black men did.
I believe he'll get there, Dr. Umar.
May I finish?
Dr. Umar.
And I'll end it quickly, Sister Tammy.
What it do, man? It's your boy 100 and we back in this. Hey, we back in this, man. And my dog Umar Johnson was on Fox Soul with a couple individuals having some real decent conversations. You know what I'm saying? It's an hour long. Will I watch the whole hour? I don't know. Maybe. If I do, I'll chop it up into parts. You know what I'm saying? For now, you just sitting here watching no hour-long video. But yeah, the combo seemed real decent, man. Let's tap in.
Dr. Umar, you welcomed us to the show by saying Black Power. Black Power, okay. Is there some truth to the assimilation that Black men want or perceive to want when it comes to this war being waged against you?
Well, there's definitely some truth to it, but I think that truth is also evident in Black women. Black men, many of them may choose to want a white woman, but many Black women choose to look like white women. So we have to look at ourselves and we have to recognize that the pathology is not more of one gender than the other. That's the issue I have with conversations that seek to see who is more at fault, the Black man or the Black woman. It's not about who's more at fault. We rise together or we will perish together. The Black man cannot survive without his woman, and the Black woman cannot survive without her man. And the issue that I take with my two sisters' narrative is I hear a lot of criticism. I hear a lot of condemnation, but I don't hear any empowerment. I don't hear any solutions coming from either one of them. It appears as if that there is a hatred towards Black men by those sisters. Even when they said, why are we going back to 1960? Let's stay in 2022. That is so immature and irresponsible of a statement. As a psychologist, when a client comes into my office, the first thing I perform is a history on their depression, a history on their suicide, a history on their anxiety. When you go see the medical doctor, he performs a history. When you go buy a home, they perform a history. When you go purchase an automobile, they perform a history on that automobile. But when we talk about the problems that affect Black males, we're supposed to look at it in a vacuum. We're not supposed to put it in a historical context. And with that being said, the language and the narrative that's coming out of the mouth of these two beautiful Black women is one that I think the white power structure would endorse because it totally absolves them of any responsibility for the hell Black men catch in this country.
Cynthia.
That's facts, bro. They was in here talking about going back to 1960. Why y'all going back to the 1900s and talking about the issues and talking about oppression and talking about what they was doing to y'all and all this and that? Why y'all going back here? Let's come back up to 2022. Well, let's go to 2022. But it's like, bro, what's happening in 2022 is a result of what they did in the past. Like, they purposely put us in these positions, bro, when we're living and thriving and everything is good and the man can provide for the family and the woman can be at home with the kids and everything is copacetic. The murders is down. The crime is down. That doesn't benefit them. You know what benefits them? Us being destabilized, us being in prison, us doing crimes, that benefits them. When we having money and wealth and passing things down and having big families and large families and our population is growing, that's not good for them. They don't want that. They want more of them living and thriving, not us.
G, you did say, why are we going all the way back to 1960? There is some truth to history when it comes to evaluating anything or anyone. So what do you say to that? So Cynthia G, what do you say to historical context?
I say we should go to the historical context because what I have not heard from Dr. Umar Johnson, or I think his name is Dwayne. Duan, is what I have not heard as they're mentioning all of the things that was done to them. I haven't heard what you did in response to it. So I would like to know, what did you do in response in history other than go to the Supreme Court and petition to have access to the men's women that you're complaining and accusing of disenfranchising you? See, because in the 1960s, what Black men were really doing, and it's been documented, many civil rights leaders have admitted to it, what Black men were doing is chasing the white man's woman, trying to so-called stick it to him by way of going to their women. What you should have been doing is trying to get liberation for yourself. What you should have been trying to do is get that foot off your neck. But see, the foot is not on your neck. And the only time you recognize it being on your neck is when you want to get away with doing something that you think white men are getting away with doing. Because let's just be real. Whenever we hear about this war against Black men, it's usually being brought up when there's a Black man like R. Kelly, Bill Cosby. We see Trey Songz going through it, Ari Spears, when they engage in some degeneracy, and then they're getting a consequence for it. And Black men think that because they perceive white men to be getting away with crimes, they want to be able to get away with crimes as well. The reality is, Dr. Umar can sit up here and list all the different ways that the system is disenfranchising Black men and Black men in a victim boat. But the reality is, what he cannot tell you is what Black men did in response to it, because they did nothing. They laid down and they nested under the skirt of their non-Black preferences, and only to complain that whenever they commit a crime, they're not getting off like they.
So let's find out.
Bro, who is defending Bill Cosby and R. Kelly? Who is defending these people, bro? Only thing we say is let us get a fair shake, bro. If we go to court, let us go to court and fight it in court, bro. If he did it, go to jail. If he didn't do it, let him off. Pointing out that there's a legal inconsistency when a white person does similar things is an issue. I'm supposed to not act like that's an issue? If this white person got off for this and this Black person didn't, it ain't that I want everybody to get off. It's that if the Black man go to jail, send that white man to jail too. That's the point. How can you sit up here and say Black men ain't did nothing? Nothing at all? All these fights and boycotts and rallies and trying to empower ourselves, the whole civil rights movement. You telling me that was to get a white woman, bro? Most Black men that are married to Black women. What are you saying, bro?
Oh, Dr. Umar, what have Black men done?
Well, number one, again, I think that it is such a shame coming from a psychological perspective that we seek to heal our wounds as a people by relying on unprofessional testimony by individuals who have a vendetta against the opposite gender in their community. When you hear Sister Cynthia speak, you can hear a hurt and a pain and a hatred towards Black men. We cannot find an effective solution to Black male-female relationship issues or the oppression of Black men or Black women when the people at the table having the conversation have negative emotional and pathological interests in the conversation that are not.
Umar, the question wasn't about my emotional state. The question was, what did Black men do in response to their disenfranchisement? Yeah, because you're trying to pathologize my emotional state, not that I'm a psychologist too. But what you're not doing is telling us what Black men did.
I believe he'll get there, Dr. Umar.
May I finish?
Dr. Umar.
And I'll end it quickly, Sister Tammy. According to Mrs. Cynthia G., Dr. King was assassinated because he was doing.
Before he even finished, bro, do you see that, bro? Ain't no man interrupted nobody talking this whole time. She's attacked Black men this whole time. Ain't nobody interrupted, no points. As soon as he say something, she gotta cut him off. And no, you know what I'm saying? First of all, we ain't talking about that. Like, bro, like it's so apparent that you just angry at Black men, bro. You just don't like Black men. You just angry at Black men. This man can't even get his thought off. Like, we ain't in no dinner table, bro. You on a major platform cutting somebody off. Ain't nobody cut you off on none of your points. None. You sat up here and said Black men ain't did nothing. That's crazy.
Nothing. Malcolm X was assassinated because he was doing nothing. Medgar Evers was assassinated because he was doing nothing. Fred Hampton was assassinated because he was doing nothing. That narrative that Black men have done nothing to fight back against systemic oppression, not only against ourselves, but against our women, our children, our elders, and our community is absolutely ridiculous. The cemetery is filled with Black men, names we know and names we don't know, who gave their life for the freedom, liberation, and emancipation of African people. How can you disrespect the history of so many Black men, past and present, who continue to fight? I'm sitting in a school right now that we built with all Black money, 4 buildings that we're going to educate Black men in. It's not easy to solve our problems because there's always Black people in your very same community who's fighting against what you're trying to do to help it. But in addition to that, the white power structure is always waving its wand of oppression to try to sabotage anything we do. I think that the analysis of our women is too overly simplistic, and in being such, it is dishonest.
They've done so much. You've only listed names.
Bro, look at how hard she going, bro. Like, what is this emotion that she has about this, bro? She seems so angry, bro. Like, the Black men are talking, they saying facts. This is a fact, this is a fact, this happened, this is history, statistics. It seems like it's just feelings. I feel like y'all ain't did nothing. I feel like this. I feel like, I don't know who did it to her, bro. I don't know who did it, bro.
They're not accomplishments, though.
I can list some accomplishments. Okay, when it comes down to it, what have Black men done since the 60s? We've turned around and we're still inventing things. We still open up businesses. Here in LA, you got Black businesses all around town. It's just that when we open these businesses up, you have a city that these Black businesses suddenly catch on fire. You have issues when it comes down to what's going on right now with one of my cousins and these abatement laws, who's built plenty of properties here in LA, managing it, but because there was some gang activity down the street, a nuisance abatement is about to get all of his properties taken. So when Black men do build things, and we build things on individual basis, you're not going to see an NBC special about what the great Black man built. When Irv Gotti, Suge Knight, and J. Prince tried to put together a distribution, they all got charges the next week. So it's not like we don't build things. When we do build things, something always ends up seeming to happening. And in spite of that, you've seen the most Black business male ownership that's gone up in the last 60 years since the coronavirus. We still doing it. I personally got 3 businesses, so I don't know what you're talking about. I employ young Black men. I've helped thousands of Black children here in South Central LA. So all this Black men ain't doing nothing. Where are you kicking it at?
So how are Black men?
That's wild, bro. Like, she's invalidating all the work that Black men are doing, bro. Like men in the societies get shit done, bro. Overwhelmingly, bro, men keep the country afloat. Overwhelmingly. It's so crazy to see that this conversation can become so volatile when it's like, bro, you keep saying Black men ain't did nothing, Black men ain't did nothing, y'all ain't did nothing. Like, bro, you invalidating so much, bro. Do you just want us to be the scapegoat? Do you just want us to be the reason that the community is falling apart or something? Y'all ain't did nothing. Y'all ain't doing nothing. You talk about all this oppression and all this legislation and all this stuff that they doing. Like, bruh, the system does not want us to thrive. The system does not want us to thrive. Can you thrive through it? Yes, you can. And we do it every day. But it's not made for us to thrive. It ain't.
Hold that thought. I want to get Hope in here real quick, Dr. Umar. I want to get Hope in here because Dr. Umar listed a plethora of Black men that we know, and I'm assuming he listed the ones that we know so that we can identify and all agree that these Black men have done something in terms of the fight for equality in America. How do you feel about those men that he listed, Hope? Have they done anything for the Black community or no?
Most definitely. I would be ignorant to say that they haven't, right? But I think that what we're failing to realize is that when we have this conversation about what Black men have done, the consequences are usually because of white supremacy and the gaze of white folks on us are that the Black men are then taken away and the Black women have to then sustain those things. To say that Black women are unappreciative of that, it would be I think that is the dishonesty, right? The way that Black women show up for the Black community and the Black families, regardless of how we feel about the Black men that we might be interacting with or the Black men that are doing bad things, while still staying here to cultivate the Black men who are, is, I mean, to overlook that to me is just dishonest. The idea that a lot of you all were raised by grandma them and auntie them and all of these amazing Black women that are in community and share space with you and share space with your children, that's being looked over. But also, this isn't, Dr. Umar, you're right. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that you said, but you're absolutely right. It's not about the idea of who's doing it better or the pissing match of the oppression Olympus amongst Black people, but it's really about working together. The problem is, what I find in working together is that the Black man wants to lead, whether he's acquired the gumption and the knowledge to be able to do so appropriately and effectively or not. The thing about it is, when you're working together, we are a team. You get to lead this portion because you're better at it. I get to lead that portion because I'm better at it. And then we come to a common ground for both of us to succeed. But a lot of the times when we're talking about these succession plans and we're making all of these advocacy movements in order to progress the Black family, the Black man says, listen to me or fail. Right? As if Black women have nothing to contribute to that. And I think that that's where the problem is. That's where the discourse needs to happen, is how do we work together so that Black men understand that we are meant to work side by side and not with me following you with my head down and saying, yes, that's our master. Because that is me being subservient to you in a way that I might not want to do, especially considering if you do not have the credentials, the know-how, the wherewithal, or the lived experiences to lead me in a way that I might be better suited to do in this point of our journey. And
Dr. Umar.
Boy, fuck out of here, boy. When did anybody invalidate grandma and them, auntie them? We never said none of that at all. At no point in this whole discussion, none of them said that. But y'all been attacking Black men the whole time. So we're defending Black men. If you're attacking Black men and I defend Black men, how was your response? Oh, I mean, yeah, those Black men have done something. But what about grandma and them and auntie them? What about the women? You attacked the Black men. Have y'all not been listening to each other? Nobody invalidated grandma and them at no point. Not damn time. Appreciate you for watching this long, you know what I'm saying? If you're still watching, you could sub down there for free. Sub for the free. This was just part one of the discussion, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep watching for part two.